after my mom told me about the handprint, I rushed towards the bathroom to look in the mirror. Sure enough, there was a huge handprint on my face. I put my own hand over it just to be sure I didn't smack myself accidentally from that god-awful nightmare. But no, it was too big to be mine. I stood there in disbelief. Suddenly a knock came from the front door, though. My mom went to answer, and two older men, probably in their 50s, spoke. "Hello, ma'am. I'm Chris. This is my brother Martin. You may know us as the Crap Brothers. We're looking for a young man named Luke." Now, the thing about my mom is that she was always a little too overprotective, even nowadays. "Why are you looking for my son?" she said with a stern look and sour voice. "We think he's in danger," they simply responded. I then ran up to them and asked, "What do you mean by danger?" The brothers looked at me, staring at the handprint on my face. They then looked at each other, and back at me. They asked worryingly, "Has Zoboomafoo come back already?" I was stunned. How did they know? "Did you do this to my son?" my mom said, sounding very pissed off. Martin said no, but that they know who did, and that we don't have much time. If he's back. "What do you mean?" I asked. And then it hit me. They knew about my childhood nightmares. Did they also know why Zoboomafoo chose to haunt my dreams? Chris spoke nervously. "We will tell you everything, Luke. But first, I need you to explain to your mother to calm down." I obliged and told my mother that I'd take care of this. She agreed reluctantly and went back to preparing Thanksgiving dinner. Martin then started to explain. 22 years ago, PBS hired us to create a show for their children's block, PBS Kids. They gave us a lemur named Jovian. However, we didn't think the name Jovian would stick with kids. Most people don't know that, actually. So, we attempted to come up with a name to call him for the show, but we came up blank. Until, that is, we decided to take a walk in the woods one day. Chris suddenly fell down what looked like a trap door. I didn't have much time to think about how or why the door was here because I had to rescue him. Chris then spoke up. I fell into a large pile of leaves and dirt. Martin yelled down asking if I was okay, but Chris then spoke up. I fell into a rather large pile of leaves and dirt. Martin yelled down asking if I was okay, and I yelled back saying that I was. He said he was going to find some help, so I decided to explore a little bit. I pulled out my flashlight and started to look around, until I saw a dark figure carving something in the stone wall. Looked like evolution stopped halfway with this thing, like he was a monkey, but at the same time a human being. He gave me a smile the way a chimpanzee does if you give him a banana. It then climbed on a vine and went off, and I was disturbed greatly, but also curious about what was drawn or written on the wall. I gathered as much courage as I could, and saw that it was written in, surprisingly, modern-day English. I thought that was odd, since it seemed like it didn't know any communication skills. But I digress. It read the name Zoboomafoo. My fear suddenly turned into excitement. This was the name we were looking for. After Martin got me out, I told him about what had happened. At first, he didn't believe me, but he liked the name Zoboomafoo as well. We got back to the studio a few days later, we pitched the idea, and PBS loved it. especially the puppet that I made. And yes, I made the Zoboomafoo puppet. No one knows that either. And things were going great until 2003, when a security guard noticed the Zoboomafoo puppet was missing. Then it appeared the next day. This process kept happening until the show ended. And that was when Jovian acted extremely bizarre. Martin spoke. It said your name. Well, actually screamed your name. As in, it spoke to us. At this point, I was more terrified than ever. You heard how Jovian died due to kidney failure, right? I nodded. That's not what happened at all. Truth be told, he just burst out the window, running like a person. We couldn't explain it to the media without sounding crazy, so we came up with that lie. I finally asked, why does he come after me? Because you fear him, Chris responded. He's been wanting someone to fear him. You see, Zoboomafoo, Jovian, whatever the hell you want to call him, he isn't a lemur. He's a demon. A strange voice came from behind me. It was Zoboomafoo, standing on two legs, his toothy smile and bright yellow eyes staring down at me. His razor-sharp claws dripping with blood. The blood of my mother and stepfather. Their lifeless corpses behind this monstrosity. This unholy abomination. The thing that everyone laughed at me for being so afraid of was worth all the fear. You may be wondering what happens next. Well, I gave in to the fear. And now me and Zoboomafoo are one.